What is up? Welcome back to the Lightspeed Social Agency YouTube channel. I am Cody Owen. We are going to be talking about those absolutely terrible leads, the people who come into the business and you're really scared to make them a customer because they absolutely suck. The way that I'm going to be focusing on turning the tables on these terrible leads, terrible customers, is by living kind of by the maxim that the best revenge is living well, right? So we're going to get back at these people by either making them fantastic customers or identifying people who can't be redeemed and getting them out the door. So what I want to start off with is I ask some people in the lawn care industry. If you are a Facebook friend of mine, you might have seen this post. Feel free to add me on Facebook. I'll have a link down in the description. But so I got some these are things that people hear a lot. I wanted to kind of sit with them for a little bit. I posted this a few weeks ago. And just think about like a marketing focused or a branding focused response to these potential customers that we can either redeem them or have them show us who they are and believe them when they tell us who they are and get them out the door. So the first one is, my last guy did it cheaper. Can you price match? The kind of snarky question to ask here is, what happened to the last guy? Why isn't he in business anymore? Is it because his pricing was awful? So what you're going to notice in this video is that I have a theme that I'm going to come back to over and over, which is explaining why to a customer, giving them the why. I don't know if you remember being a kid and hearing you ask your parents why, and they say, because I said so. And if you were the kind of, rebellious kid that I was, you hear that and it's just like the most frustrating thing you've ever heard. And now if you put that in the mind of a customer who's like, I'm paying you to do a job. Like, I'm trying to pay you to do this for me. You work for me, right? They're thinking that they have the power in this situation and you're trying to pull like an authority move on them. That's not going to sit well with most customers. And so we want to engage with them and present to them, hey, this is why I do things this way. And this is why it's actually better for you that I do it this way. So when you have somebody trying to negotiate, the first thing here is, be like, hey, is the last guy still in business? And, this might be the kind of customer who's done this. The last guy might be out of business because he price matched the last guy that went out of business, right? Like, this customer might just be a serial killer of lawn care businesses. You need to lay out for this customer, hey, our pricing works the way it works because we're looking at the difficulty level of mowing the lawn. We're basing it on the time it takes with the equipment we have. We may not have the same set of equipment as the last guy. You can point out constraints on their lawn. Maybe they have a really narrow gate and your biggest equipment isn't going to fit through into the backyard. And so then you're telling them like, hey, I'm going to have to push mow the backyard. That takes longer. This is why our pricing is the way it is. Like, engage with the customer as though they're being reasonable and try to keep them on the reasonable side of the spectrum. And some people are going to be like, no, I want you to price match the last guy who went out of business and I don't care. And that person is telling you the kind of customer they're going to be, and it is not worth it to you to keep them around. Do not deviate from your systems and processes and tell them, hey, I don't think that, this is going to work. I don't think that we're going to be a good fit for each other, but I wish you all the best. And maybe, they need to go for more of a value provider in the market. You provide a premium service and you charge a premium for that. And that maybe they need to look into, insert the Walmart of lawn care providers in your market. Okay, the second one is, I want my lawn mowed every Friday. I want you to come on a consistent day at a consistent time. And that is the only time I want you mowing. This is a pretty unreasonable customer making what on the surface feels like a reasonable request, except that, we live in the real world where it rains, people call in sick. Any number of things could happen that push your schedule back. A rain on Monday can definitely affect the Friday schedule because you now have to mow all of your Monday customers on Tuesday, right? So we don't want customers thinking that they get to dictate the schedule based on when they want us to mow, because it's never going to work. And so when I posted this on Facebook, I'm going to pull it up because Eric Lowry submitted, his comment was about they won't abide by your systems and processes. But I thought that his answer to this person, when I asked him to elaborate, he wrote basically an entire blog post. I really, really appreciate Eric's response here because it was so helpful. Let me get it pulled up and I will go ahead and read you the response because he gives the typical lawn care business response. and then his response. And I think that it's just chef's kiss. I can't add anything to it to make it better. Okay, so the customer says they want their yard mowed on Friday mornings only. The last guy was never here when he said he was going to. The typical lawn care business says, great, I have room on my Friday schedule, so I'll pencil you in. And then they proceed to have constant issues with delays and weather, and they keep pushing service to Saturday or Sunday, and the customer gets increasingly pissed off. Okay, what Eric says that he tells this kind of customer is, I can certainly appreciate that. As you can imagine, many of our customers would like that as well. What we found is that trying to schedule by specific date becomes problematic for reliability. I'd be willing to bet that that was part of the conflict with your previous provider. It's particularly common with weather conflicts, so here's how we do it. Our routes are completed in the same order each week based on the most efficient travel from yard to yard. My crews normally run Monday through Thursday with the goal to get as much of the route done each day as possible so that they can finish the route as quickly as possible. Your route can change slightly with new customers coming in or customers that move away, but most of the time we'll be there on the same day unless we have a delay or we're able to work faster than expected. Unfortunately, we consider Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as makeup dates to allow us flexibility when weather is an issue. In that case, we still run the route in the same order, but everyone on the route is pushed back slightly and we catch up as fast as we can, including working weekends if needed. This ensures that no one's waiting longer than anyone else to get caught up. And then he provides kind of your comes where a customer hears it, gets on file, or they really only want Fridays and they're going to go with another business and they're going to have a bad time. And, there could be some customer that has a really specific reason that they need it to be on Fridays. Maybe that is, consistently a day that they're at work. They do 48 on, 24 off or whatever. And they want to make sure that they're not woken up with the sound of a lawnmower and a leaf blower out there. But by and large, just explaining the process is going to win you reasonable customers that can be won. And the kind of customer who can't be won is not going to be by that. And they're going to tell you that doesn't work for them. And you're going to not deviate from the systems and processes that you have built into your business. Don't deviate from them. Don't carve out exceptions for people. Have them come in the door like everybody else. Or if the door is not the right size for them, you're not the right company for them. So don't start, chiseling out parts of your business to get these people in the door. If you can't get anyone in the door, then it's time to consider whether your processes are broken. But until then, if you're still getting people to come in at an acceptable conversion rate, go ahead and stay true to the processes you've set up in the business. Explain them to customers. Reasonable people will be won. People that you can't win, you didn't want to begin with. They're going to be bad customers. Okay. The next thing is customers who tell you how to do your job. I think everyone who's ever worked a job has dealt with a customer who claims to have 20 years of experience in whatever thing you're doing. And it's like, they don't even know the names of the tools that you're using, right? So these people are incredibly annoying and it's very frustrating to deal with somebody telling you how to do your job, especially when you have, I have friends in the industry who've been in the industry for 30 years. There's very rarely going to be a customer who actually has some knowledge about the specific job that we're doing that we don't already have. We don't already have a reason that we're not doing it that way. The big thing I would tell you here is that it's really difficult to maintain your customer service face for this interaction. So just know going in that I'm trying to frame this in a way that gives you some strategies, but the most important thing you can do here is just pause before you speak. Try not to do the, you're spooling up with rage. Just try to take a quick breath, take a quick beat, remind yourself that this is a customer, they're paying you, and, they could be, saying something incredibly ignorant to you. But at the end of the day, you want to get paid. You want to get a 5-star Google review out of every customer that you're working with. And so you just want to take a beat and then lay out the process for them. Again, this is giving them the why. This is so, so valuable. Give them the why for why you're doing it that way. Lay out your experience, hopefully not in a way that comes across as arrogant, but that lays out that, hey, I'm a professional. You hired me to do a professional job. We're doing it this way because this is the best way because X, Y, Z. Whatever those reasons are that this is the best way to do this, lay that out for the customer and hopefully they see it and they're probably already paying you to do this job. So you need them to get on board with it so you can finish it out. But if they were really, really difficult, don't answer the phone the next time they want you to come out for a job. Don't, or give them a quote that's too high that keeps them from coming back in. All right. Our next guy is the person who says, can you give me a good price? Right. This is the same kind of negotiation as before. They're not necessarily asking for a price match. They're just asking you to deviate from the systems and processes that you've built for your business. They're asking you to make them a custom door into the business instead of using the door everybody else uses. And this is, once again, meet them with the why. Hey, our pricing is systematized based on how long it's going to take us to do the work. The way that we pay our employees is based on efficiency if you're using a P for P system. And so, unfortunately, we're not able to negotiate price here because it is the way our business model works and the way that we keep good quality employees so that you don't have to be worried about who's coming to your home, the way that we maintain our equipment so that it is giving you a quality cut each time we're out here. All of that is built on everybody paying what we believe is a fair price for a premium service. So unfortunately, we're not able to deviate from that pricing. This is just, this is our standard price and we're going to have to stand by it. That is going to at least give them a couple reasons to think about the price. But in general, the kind of customer who wants to negotiate and nickel and dime you is probably going to be a shitty customer in the long term. So I would consider this question a pretty big red flag. The price match on the previous guy feels a little less unreasonable than the person who's just trying to negotiate because they feel like negotiating. So just evaluate whether you want this customer to begin with. And you certainly don't want them at a discount, right? Because they're probably, that discount's going to get requested at every turn. Okay. The next thing, you get a person who tells you, oh, my last 3 lawn care companies were awful. They never showed up when they were supposed to. They always were screwing things up, all that. Someone tells you their last guy was bad and they have specific reasons, like they rutted up my lawn after it rained, that kind of thing. That's reasonable. Someone who has had a series of bad lawn care experiences, there is the off chance they just found every bad provider in the market. But what's more likely is they have unreasonable expectations and they're going to complain no matter what. So this is the biggest red flag a customer can give me. This is even in my own business. If they're like, I've been through, so many marketing agencies and all of this, and no one could give me what I wanted. I try to really evaluate their expectations and whether they're reasonable, whether I think the goal is attainable. And, I really think that this is the kind of customer who you could get down on your hands and knees and trim every blade of grass to the exact length with a pair of shears, and they're going to complain that you were there for too long, right? So this is not a reasonable customer. They're not someone that you want to keep around. And so I would quote them too high to get them out the door, or just tell them that you don't think it's going to be a good fit, right? The thing I would watch out for with this kind of customer is that if you upset them, they probably know to go leverage an online review against you. On the Google side, you can fill out a form with Google and challenge the review and say that we didn't do business together and they're retaliating because I wouldn't quote them, and see if you can get that review removed. So don't let them hold that over your head necessarily, because you can hopefully get it removed. You can also do a good job of positioning what happened in your response to them. Remember that when you're responding to that review, you're not going to win that person back over. Like, they're mad at you or whatever. That's a pretty unreasonable 1-star review. It's just a person who really signaled they're a bad customer. I would write that response so that you're thinking about whoever's going to read it and is maybe going to be influenced by reading that person's review. You want a response that wins that person over. So assume you're writing to a reasonable person who's reading this, and just tell the truth about the interaction you had with this customer. You didn't see that they were going to be a good fit in the business, and you didn't want both of you to have a bad time as a result of that. Okay. Our last person here is less of I don't have a specific quote for this person, but this is your constant complainer. This is someone who's in the business. They are, if you're paying P for P for your guys, this is the person that everyone groans when they hear their name. This is the person that's always causing callbacks. They're not reasonable. They're not actual mistakes. They're just always upset about something, and it's obnoxious. I read a story not that long ago from someone who they were complaining that the lawnmower had damaged their driveway, and they wanted a quote to have the driveway repaired. And it was like, there's a car parked on the driveway. The riding mower did not damage the driveway. It had rained and the mower had left some like very faint black marks on the driveway. I think the crew probably didn't even spot them. And the owner of the business went back out and cleaned it up to, get the customer to be satisfied with them. But that's a really unreasonable request from the customer, and to allege that like, oh, the driveway has been damaged. Like, someone who's dramatic like that is a bad customer. And we need to consider whether we want to fire them, get them out of the business. If it's someone who is wasting office time, they're wasting the crew's time, they're taking money out of the crew's paycheck by causing callbacks in a P4P system, everyone in the business is going to hate this person. And you are absolutely, at the end of the day, you're going to end up paying this person to mow their lawn through the amount of paid time of employees that they're wasting for you. So you would never roll up on a customer and pay them $8 to mow their lawn. But by the time this person's done wasting your company's time every month, that is what's happening. You are losing $8 to mow their lawn. So really, really consider whether this person is worth keeping in the business, or if they're costing you money through all of these, unbillable hours they're taking. So that is everyone. I really hope that this gives you a way to, get revenge on bad customers, bad leads by living well, right? By either winning people over who can be won over, or getting people out the door who suck. I really, really hope that this helps you out. If you have made it to this point in the video, I really hope that you'll send it to someone in the industry who you think that it would help out, a friend, hopefully not a direct competitor. And also, let me know your story of a terrible customer, terrible lead down in the comments. I would love to hear it. And also, that kind of engagement helps the YouTube channel get spread to other lawn care business owners. It lets YouTube know that, hey, this is Cody's making content that is worth consuming and responding to. So it would really help me out if you left a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. Hey, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next week.